This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow man-child Johnny Karlic.
Can you?
And we are back for the Rick and Johnny podcast right here on Most Valuable Podcast. And we got a jam-packed show. If you're new to the show, we talk about entertainment, superheroes, some gaming, really nerd culture here on the Rick and Johnny podcast. We got a jam-packed show. We're going to be looking at Spider-Man. They want to add a Femme Fatale to the Spider-Man Homecoming 2 movie. Could it be Black Cat? We'll look into that. We're also going to look at the Flashpoint movie. Did DC make the right choice with the directors that they have on board? And then finally, will Captain Marvel be in Avengers Infinity War this upcoming May? But before we get into all that, little housekeeping at the beginning. I'll try to keep it brief. Number one, if you have not already, make sure to check out mostvaluablepodcast.com. This is where everything from podcast to YouTube to everything is at one central location. That link is down below in the description, or you can click it over here, I think, on the YouTube page. Number two, if you like what we're doing, if you love what we do, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. Just a way for you guys to help and support us more so than liking and sharing and watching each and all of our podcasts each and every week. Then also, if you're on iTunes, make sure to go over and give the Rick and Johnny podcast a 5-star rating. It would mean the world to us. And last but not least, we're selling MVP t-shirts. You can get that down below in the description, $22 a pop, and that is including the shipping. But Johnny, let's start with Spider-Man.
Yes.
And this one, when I read this on Friday after we recorded the Fast Break podcast, I knew right away that this was going to be a topic
because it's
for
Spider-Man.
us. Well, not just that, but because like
I'm just messing with you.
It's a big thing. Like they're adding a specific role, and for those of you who don't know, because I didn't know the exact terminology of it coming into this. So for you guys who don't know, a Femme Fatale, which is what they're adding into Spider-Man Homecoming 2, is a mysterious and seductive woman whose charm ensnares her lover. Reading's hard. Ensnares her lovers, often leading them into dangerous, compromising, and deadly situations. She is an archetype in literature and art. Her abilities to entrance and hypnotize her victims with a spell was in the earliest stories seen as being literally supernatural. Hence, the Femme Fatale today is often described as having a power akin to an enchantress or a seductress. So this is what I want to ask you. There are so many characters. Well, not so many. There's a few characters that we could say for this. But my first thought when they said Femme Fatale was the Black Cat.
Yeah, that's very
Is she coming into this? Because they are doing a Silver Sable Black Cat movie. Are they going to add her into Spider-Man Homecoming so that we can jumpstart her off the ground so that her spin-off movie has a little traction to it?
She's the one out of anyone I can think of with the Spider-Universe. The Spider-Verse, I guess, is the way.
That's what they're trying to do.
Is the one that describes that the most, at least that I can think of. She is more regular in Spider-Man stuff than some other ones we're going to talk about later. But the only thing is that I can see as an issue is did Sony like say yes to Marvel? Did they do that contract in the write-up where it's like, hey, let us start Black Cat in Homecoming, and then you guys can like launch your movie about her? Because what they run the contract ends after Homecoming 2, right?
Yes, I believe. Well, I believe so. It's either that.
I mean, they can always extend it too.
It's either that or Avengers 4. Because, I mean, if Peter Parker's
first.
Yeah, well, Peter Parker's not going to... Oh, that's right. Spider-Man
comes after Avengers 4.
Spider-Man Homecoming 2 kicks off Phase 4.
Yes.
I was thinking in my head Spider-Man Homecoming 2 was coming in between the Avengers movies. It comes after Avengers.
It's Phase 4. So that I think that's, as of now, that's when their contract ends. I mean, they could rewrite up some stuff at that point. Disney, Fox, or not Fox, Disney. We already had that happen. Sony could say, you know what? We're going to sign it over. At this point, you guys are doing too well with everything else. Let's just give it to you.
Here's what I think, and this is me all speculating, is when it comes to Black Cat, my first thought was she makes the most sense.
Well, from that description especially,
She makes the most sense. And then also I'm thinking they're planning to release right now the Spider-Verse as we know it is a Venom movie, Into the Spider-Verse, that both those we're getting this year.
Honestly, it's riding on those two if we go through with it.
But they haven't done a DC thing where it's like, we're going to do this and this and that and this and that and this and this. They're not doing all of that.
Yeah.
But they have said, here's Venom, here's Into the Spider-Verse, but we're also doing Silver and Black.
Yeah.
Which is Silver Sable and Black Cat. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the contract with Sony and Disney, if it was, hey, this is our plan. The only thing we want you to do is when we get to Spider-Man Homecoming 2, you have to put Black Cat in there so that we basically jumpstart her. So it's not Silver and Black is the first time we see her.
Yeah, I mean that
because you got to get us excited to see the movie. You can't just give us two characters and
Black
expect
Cat.
us to. Yeah, she's not I'll be honest, she's not a Catwoman. Like she's related to Catwoman. Like she's the Spider-Man Catwoman, kind of. However, she's not like Catwoman. You can drop a Halle Berry Catwoman movie and people go and see it.
Yeah.
Although I would at this point suggest you not go and do that. However, back in the day,
in retrospect,
here's Halle Berry as Catwoman, and everyone went and
that's
saw
more
it.
of an in retrospect thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I mean
hindsight,
or hindsight, Captain Hindsight. I would say, if anything, that she would make the most sense out of anyone, just because, like you said. But the only issue again is the contract. Did Sony and Marvel make the deals like, hey, we want Spider-Man, but we want to be able to use Black Cat at this point, or like, do we have something, a little clause in there saying we should be able to use at least one or two of other characters of our choosing throughout the movies of Spider-Man?
Well, here's one thing I wanted to bring up. Was my first thought when I saw Femme Fatale was not Black Cat.
See, mine was, and then I think
it was Gwen Stacy.
Really?
Gwen Stacy was my first one.
Okay.
Because, well, for me, really, at first, like I said, I had to look up the exact terminology of what a Femme Fatale was and is. But when I saw, like Sean described it to me, it's like a archetype that's like a female love interest. And I'm like, Gwen Stacy. But then I'm like, well, Gwen Stacy's not really evil. And then after looking at the Screen Rant's article, it was originally reported by the Hashtag Show. They say, as reported by the Hashtag Show, Homecoming 2 casting director Sarah Finn and her team are on the hunt for a European actress around 20 years old to play what is described as a femme fatale. This comes on the heels of rumors about Marvel looking for a European iteration of what sounds like their version of Gwen Stacy, a creative liberty that not many long-term Spider-Man fans are exactly thrilled about. Two things. First one, which is kind of an aside, is based off of Homecoming 1 and based on what Marvel's doing, they can do whatever they want with Gwen Stacy. I'm in. Like, they changed Mary Jane. Was I excited about it? No. Am I mad about it? No. Do I trust in Marvel? Hell yeah.
In Marvel we trust.
In Marvel we trust, just like Jeff Johns. However, I
think it's too long of a hashtag.
That was the first one I thought of, was Gwen Stacy. But I don't know if she fits the femme fatale kind of description.
Not necessarily.
And what I just read, aren't those kind of conflicting that, hey, yeah, we're thinking about a European iteration of Gwen Stacy, but we're also looking for a different part to play the femme fatale. So there can be a Gwen Stacy and a different female character to be this femme fatale.
True. I mean, that could be that. That's if we even go with the Gwen Stacy, because the other part is, do we want to hash through another Gwen Stacy death scene?
Yeah.
And
it's kind of like what we said about the spider bite incident. We talked about this before the podcast.
Yes, we did.
Spider bite incident,
which leads into
Bruce
another
Wayne's death.
Yeah.
It's like
we've seen it all.
We don't need to see Gwen Stacy die on screen again.
I don't need to see another Uncle Ben death.
And we didn't, which was kind of relieving. Nice. But I don't think we need to see Gwen Stacy die again. I don't think Marvel wants to put us through that.
Again.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. This Marvel didn't put us through it.
Disney Marvel, not Sony.
I know, but I'm just saying, I think Disney Marvel saying, you know what? We've seen that enough times. We don't need to do that. Which actually, you and I talking about it led into another character that could potentially be.
You want to reveal that right now?
I was going to let you reveal it.
Okay. This is one that a character I don't think, I just want to say, I don't think
either.
they're going to do it. I want them to
That'd
do
be
it.
cool if they
and
did.
And that's Silk.
Yes.
And the reason why is just she, to me, I get the Black Cat or Black Cat, however you want it. I've seen and I've seen just Black Cat.
Whatever you want to go with it.
However, Silk would be an awesome femme fatale.
Yes, it would.
Because they didn't show the spider bite incident, so they don't have to explain anything besides she was bitten by the same spider.
Which is what happened in the comic book anyway.
But you don't literally have to, like, because we didn't see it, you don't have to over-explain it and come up with an exact, like, this is how it happened. You can just say, it happened.
Yeah, exactly.
And then our minds are like, oh, okay, she got bit by the same spider. But that would be an awesome femme fatale situation because it could play into the, like, because of, in the comics, it was because they were bitten by the same spider, they have the pheromones, and basically they just want to go at each other to breed and procreate. You can get that same kind of love and attractiveness, but then that, no, this isn't right, and have her be the one to constantly push Peter away.
Yeah, I mean, it could be more of a, well, the thing that's considered lust at that point. And it could be one of those things. And hell, at that point.
Plus, it plays in perfectly because think about any guy watching this right now, think back to yourself in high school.
Yeah.
Think back to yourself in high school. Most of it was lust.
Yeah.
Some of it might have been love, but most of it was lust.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that what most attraction is at first?
Yeah, especially when you're first learning.
Yes, especially when you're first learning. And that's what Peter would be doing. He's still learning about that. And I mean, you can do the play. You can play it as she's a transfer student. She finally, and like, if you want to go into the backstory, like the comic books, you can. But overall, it could be like she transferred in, yada yada yada. If you get a 20-year-old, since they said they're looking for a 20-year-old that's female from. You can make that happen. I mean, if we had a conversation about it was Batgirl and who should play her. You and I agreed
with Lindsay Lohan. She's too old.
Yeah, I mean, we agreed that like you want someone high schoolish looking. You can do that with a 20-year-old. Make them look like they're in high school still. Yeah. So I mean, you could pull it off with the Silk character as well, and then you can play into that and however you want to. No, I think Silk would be like that. Is one to where it's like. I don't think they would do it. I don't think they will, but it would be awesome. I would love to see it. Like, I would too. I would love to see, and also the kind of and you know what Silk also could do? Huh. And this is an idea, giving it back to Sony. I know the MCU and I know Disney Marvel doesn't owe Sony anything. No. Basically, we're helping you more than you're helping us in this deal. Like, the only thing we want is Spider-Man. We are basically hyping up your shit now. Yeah. Because we're making Spider-Man cool again. However, I did like the remake comic book. Spider-Man cool again. We're making Spider-Man cool again. There you go. What would that MSGA makes Spider-Man great again? Yeah. MSGA, it doesn't have the same ring to it. I mean, it could be CA. Miska. However, back to my main point. Yeah. Is if you're thinking about that handoff between Disney to Sony, what better sets up your Spider-Verse than okay, here's another person, because Into the Spider-Verse is all about we see the tombstone of Peter Parker. There's tons of other Spider-Men out there. Miles Morales is one of them. What better way to play into that Spider-Verse than to, in the live action movies, have someone else like Peter Parker that can use the Spider-Man not technology, but the Spider-Man powers. Yeah, because Silk actually creates her own. Yeah. Whereas Spider-Man in most comics does not. Yeah. He had actually, well, I guess he does create his own, but chemically. Another one I thought of, and this is why I was taking so long to get ready. Now this next one, kind of femme fatale, because from the parts I read of the comics with her in it, she kind of strings him along in some senses, but she's never she won't actually date him. And it also sets up for one of our favorite comic book Spider-Man characters as well. Okay. Oh, just say it. I'm not gonna steal your thunder. The woman is Elizabeth Betty Brandt. Okay, not who I was thinking of, but go ahead. She is the where I'm looking for the actual personal secretary and later reporter of J. Jonah Jameson. And when he starts working there, he kind of is attracted to her, but she's a lot of the stuff I've read was I'm too old for you.
Yeah, that the only reason why I don't want to nip it right in the bud.
Yeah.
But if they're looking for a 20-something actor, most of the times the actress, most of the time it's, hey, we want someone 20 to play 18.
Yeah, but if they have someone who's 20 to play 20, I'm a little bit too old for you, Peter. You're still in high school. You're still like 16.
True.
You're too young for me.
True.
She'd be like college-ish age, so it's like she's got...
Would they do a thing where maybe he's still in high school, but he has an internship at the Daily Bugle and introduce the Daily Bugle into this universe?
I mean, he doesn't have to have an internship there. They could be an article out. I want like J. Jonah Jameson. I want pictures of Spider-Man. He's a menace.
And to be honest,
Peter's like, I can make some money off of this.
And to be
I'll
honest,
give a reward
Simmons,
of $100.
J.K. Simmons, who has played JJJ in the past, has said he'd love to reprise the role.
That'd be amazing if he did.
He would love to reprise the role.
He was my favorite J. Jonah Jameson.
He was the only JJJ that I could think of live action in my head.
Is that a problem?
Besides the animated series 90s
and again,
JJJ.
Is that a problem?
No, not at all.
Exactly.
It's not a problem at all. I thought you were going to go with someone completely different.
Oh, yeah?
And I can't remember her first name, but her last name is Kravinoff. And basically, she's either the daughter or the wife. I think it's one of those two. And this is what I was saying when you were like, oh, our favorite character. I thought you were going off of villain. My favorite villain from Spider-Man was Kraven.
Yeah.
Kraven the Hunter. And from what I've heard, think about that. I think I've heard them say that they want to introduce Kraven sooner rather than later.
That'd be cool.
That's one where I'm like, oh, could it be her? But I'm like, I don't think they're going to introduce Kraven already.
I was referring to J. Jonah Jameson being our favorite character.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about just villains. That's why in my head I was like, could they? But that's what, it was, this was all the way back in July that we thought that Kraven was going to be one of the villains coming up. However, that's one villain that I'd love to see in a Spider-Man movie.
That'd be cool. It'd be a different take on a villain.
Either, and I know this is off the Femme Fatale thing for a second, either Kraven or I would love to see a good Mysterio. I would love to see those two because we've seen the Doc Ocks, we've seen the Osborns, we've seen the Green Goblin. Like, I love that we're getting a Venom movie finally, and we're finally getting I know we've seen Venom in the Raimi Spider-Man movies, but we're getting, I get it. You don't like them. I like Spider-Man 1 and 2 a lot more than you did. 3, we can all agree, shouldn't have ever happened or should have happened differently. That Sandman 1 wasn't that good. However, the other two I really liked, especially Spider-Man 1. Any last thoughts you have on the Femme Fatale thing? Any other female character that we could get?
Here's one that's more so taking it from, I got one that's sort of a joke because I don't think that Marvel would introduce it this time. And there's one that's I'm kind of mulling over, but it's more so from the anime series as of late than it would be from the comics because I haven't read that far into this one. The one that I was kind of joking about, Squirrel Girl.
Yeah.
We always throw that out there for something, so I figured throw it out again. I don't think they're going to go with that.
Well, there are articles that, like, the last one I saw was that Squirrel Girl is also Disney Marvel's secret weapon.
Is she really a femme fatale, though?
No, she's not a femme fatale. The one thing I do want to throw out is if we do get Silk, you know what I would love to see, but I don't think we'd get it? I think it's from Spider Island, but the complete suit where it's basically, oh, I have no clothing, let me just make some out of webbing.
Yeah.
We could get that. The one where she's completely, not completely, but she's covered. She also has the face covered with the spider webbing.
There's that. That'd be cool, actually, because good way to play on that, too. Oh, you have a spider suit? I can make one real quick.
Yeah, and she just makes one out of nothing.
Just had one again. White Tiger.
I thought about that, but would she be a femme fatale? Like,
that's the problem. Is she femme
would she be the archetype? I don't think she'd be
she fits the archetype, but it's another female character in there.
I thought about her too because I thought of the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah, see, I thought I'd bring that up because that's what I was thinking. I was like, well, that's another female character at least. Femme fatale, not necessarily.
No, I thought the same thing. My only thing was, would she be a fatale? Would she be the archetype to Peter Parker? I'll be honest. I think it's going to be Black Cat. I think that's going to be the Femme Fatale.
If it's going to be anyone, it's probably Black Cat. There's just so many reasons that would go with. She's probably more popular than most of them we've talked about. She's the one that's coming up in the Sony universe as well, and it's just the only thing that all this depends on is what's in the contract that I don't know about.
Well, this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think down below. What do you think of the Femme Fatale news for Spider-Man Homecoming 2? And also, who do you think it's going to be? Will it be Black Cat? Will it be someone else? Let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section.